You can't take this guy serious. Put our 835 clips on. We added our blocking. We put our fascia board on and we started our sheathing.
We did relearn like just about framing the roof. We learned some new things because the plans changed a little bit.
I learned that the reason we use Tico nails, the big ones, even though they don't fit in the hole on our 835s, is because 16 pennies or 8 pennies aren't rated to hold any type of brace. I wish I would have known like a specific layout for our roof regarding the sheething, like where to put each sheet. I think that would have really helped instead of trying to put it together on the fly as we go. I think that we were able to figure it out, but it would just take a lot less time if we knew like this sheet goes here, this sheet goes here.
Yeah, I second that. So on the cuts that are diagonal on your sheathing for your roof, the chalk line's not always going to be in the center of the piece of OSB. You need to look and see where the joist actually falls and mark that. And you need to pull your chalk line from there, because if you just go in the corner of that sheet, you may be off and you may not be end up hitting on your joist. So check under there, mark it, and then pull your chalk line from there. We did make a mistake like around that.
Probably with the clips, work on different sides and work to each other. Same thing with the sheathing. Once you get like your first row in the back, just hop on different sides, because by now all of us know enough to be able to cut out a piece of OSB and put it on. So you can work twice as fast and you can talk to your partner while you do it. Today you're going to need your circular saw to cut our slopes and finish your roof frame if you haven't. You're going to need your hammer for your 835 clips, a nail puller in case you have to pull nails out. You're going to need your speed square when you go and put on your fascia board. You're going to need your impact with the special star bit for when you put in your black lag bolts through your roof frame. You're going to need 2 clamps to secure the table saw when you run your fascia board, and last but not least, a nail gun to secure your OSB when it's on your frame. And don't forget your harness. That's the most important part. We don't want anyone falling.
So right now I'm going around and I'm test fitting all of our ABS to make sure that when we put the eye hooks on, it spins freely. That way we won't have the same problem that we've had in the past with the ABS cracking when we transport these out of here. So right here, this is an example of one that needs to be altered. So what's going to happen, you just put this in here, spin it. If it spins freely, then you're good. But this one's a little close, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to notch out into this sheeting right here a little bit so that this ABS can get pushed back a little further. And it's more centered on this all thread.
That way the eye hook has more space to turn.
Exactly.
So for our 835 clips, I made a mistake and I put them in every single bay. We're really supposed to put them within every 4 feet, which is every other bay. So we're going to skip a bay when we put them in.
We've got our blocking in here, along here, and over here, and right here. So those will be ready for our sheets, so we have something to nail into right there.
Right now we're getting ready to put on our fascia board. Really simple, only a few cuts. When you go to put it on, it's only 1 nail every 16 to 18 inches. We're just going to put it on with the rough side facing down and the cut side facing up. It's going to butt up right next to the outside of our wall sheathing and become flush with the top of our 2x6 ceiling box. We're just going to put it on, check it with a speed square, throw a nail in, and work your way down.
So we are almost done installing our fascia. We worked together to install these long pieces. Isaiah was over on the end and I was on the other end just holding it up, and he was going along with the speed square and checking to make sure that it's level with the 2x6. the whole way down. So you start at one end and then you work your way down because these boards are quite warped. The other thing I would recommend doing is, we didn't do it this way, but I would recommend starting with your long piece. Start with your two sides, your two long sides. Start by putting your long piece here flush with the outside of your OSB. Run that all the way down. You'll have about a 12-inch cut at the end. And then once you have your two sides, run your short side.
So we're gonna use these black lag bolts. They have a special star bit, which you'll need to get from your teacher. We're gonna use 3 of them to secure our long runners on each side down to our eye joist. You're gonna put our lag bolts in wherever you see an eye joist at. The lag bolt furthest back is gonna be one of the longer ones.
So we started sheeting our roof. We were doing a little bit of a different layout, I think, than we had before. We're starting in our center. We're doing a full sheet out this way. Actually, we had to cut this one down, my bad. This one's cut down to the center of this stud. We then drew a chalk line from here to here, ripped this down after setting the depth of the saw, just cut it right in place. Yeah, so then the way the layout's gonna work is we're gonna run a sheet. The next sheet is gonna come this way. So everything on this side is running this way. And then everything in this larger triangle is gonna be running this way.
So today we started off putting our A35 clips in. That took about 2 hours for all of them. Then we started with our blocking. When we put our blocking in, you're just gonna measure the distance between your 2 slope runners. And then you're gonna snap a line on the side closest to the scupper to take your measurement, because that's gonna be the lowest side. So this side here will be a little bit lower, but this side will be flush, and that's okay. And when we come to sheathe our roof, everything from this runner to this runner, we're gonna lay it this way. So that's why these 2 pieces of OSB are laid horizontally. But when it comes to this side of the slope, we're gonna lay them all vertically. That's why we started this piece vertical. So a little bit different. It's still sheathing. It's just gonna take a little bit more time, but nothing we can't handle.
Well, today they sheeted the overframe of our slope roof. So we put our slope on the roof to a roof drain over here, and we have to make sure that we're a 4-inch drain, and our roof scupper actually needs 4 inches on each side of that. So we have an 8-inch pan that goes in there for the roof drain. Up here you can see all the joists and blocking they put in. Here is a typical way that we connect the roof joists together.
The way it should be?
Yes, that is the exact way it should be, to tie that all together. We kind of use it like a joist hanger. At this point, you can see we run a 6-inch framing screw all the way down into the eye joist. At that location, this location, and then there's one more up here that they do that's covered up with plywood by now. But you can see how we tie our joists into our valley joist, and that ties this whole roof together. We also have clips that tie the joist down to the roof also. So it looks really good. They did a good job. This is the hard part for them, to get all the roofing put in and cut on angles and put in. But they got a good day's start on it. What they've got to do is finish this up, and then they run a piece of plywood over the top of the trim and the rim joist that we have running around the edge. And you can see they've cut their holes out for their pipe to go in, and that'll go in like that, and that's for us to have access to the lifting bolts, and then those will all be roofed in. But otherwise it looks good. Monday I'll inspect all the sheeting and sign off for the nailing on the sheeting. They had a very good day. It's like I said, it's a lot of angles, a lot of clips, and they did really well on it.